Uh, Next is cloud economics. Now, this is very, very important to understand because if you want to move onto the clouds, you need to understand that how this entire economics work, how the entire costing works with the AWS. So AWS here we have taken, but it will also give you an idea that what actually it means when you move to the clouds. So you can just take this as a reference, and it is almost applicable in other cloud services also. So in the cloud economics, we are going to talk about the pricing model, that what kind of model is proposed by the AWS, and also the total cost of ownership. These are the two important concepts to understand before we move to the clouds. Okay, so moving to clouds. So moving to clouds means in this we are going to talk about the philosophy of the cloud computing, and we will talk about the fundamental pricing characteristics which is there with the AWS. We will understand the elements of total cost of ownership. So basically, when we talk about the TCO, it is the cost of ownership uh, that is required by using the cloud. So it provides a framework to evaluate the competing solutions to a problem, and you know how it is going to be affect your business if you're going to move to the clouds. So there are basically three fundamental drivers of the cost with the AWS, and they are namely known as compute, storage, and outbound data transfer. So, what does it mean? These are the three terms that you are actually paying for the services. So, most of the time, if you use any of the services, you need to pay. Now, these are the characteristics that actually vary depending on the AWS product and pricing model you choose. So when you go to the compute, there are a lot of services are there which comes under this category, and all have the different kind of costing parameters and the rates. In most of the cases, there is no charge for inbound data transfer, or if you are doing a data transfer between between the other AWS services in the same region. So if any data is to be stored inside the cloud, or if it is moved from one region in one zone to other zone in the same region, then there will be no cost, there will be no charge for it. But there may be some exceptions. So you need to verify the data transfer rates before you use any AWS services. So when I say there is no charge in the inbound transfers and among the transfers, so most of the time it is applicable. But again, you have to kind of verify that for the services what are the rates applicable. And outbound data transfers is basically aggregated across the services and then will be charged at the outbound data transfer rate. So if your data is going outside the cloud, then yes, you have to charge for it. And then again, it depends on what kind of services you are using, and it is used in which context of which services. And this charges are basically appears on your monthly bill, which the AWS send to you, and it will be titled as the AWS data transfer out. So data transfer out means the amount of data which has been accessed from the cloud by the consumer or the client, and for this you need to pay the charges. So storing the data is not a charges, but accessing the data out of the cloud will be chargeable. This is their kind of business model they are using. So if you look to the pricing philosophy, the philosophy is basically based on what you use, you have to pay for that. So at the end of each month, you only pay what you have consumed for the entire month. You can start or stop any of the product in between, and there is no long-term contracts are required. Though in some cases, if you go for a long-term contract, you may be getting some advantage in terms of rates will be cheaper for you. So AWS basically offers a range of cloud computing services to you, and you are going to pay exactly what amount of source you are actually using it, what actually you need at any point of time. You are only paying for that. So this utility style pricing model is actually including pay for what you are using for. Basically, it also ensures that when you are reserving something, you have to pay less. And also, if you are going to use more and more any services, then also your charge will be less. So they are actually promoting you to use the services for a longer time, for a more volume. Then they will be giving you more kind of discounts. Even as AWS is keep on growing, the more customer base is actually adding to this AWS, they are reducing the price. So this is also one of the advantage, because it's growing at a very faster pace. More and more businesses coming to it, so they are actually reducing the price, and this is one advantage for the customer to move to the AWS. So we'll see one by one what is pay for what you use. Uh, so if you plan to build your own data centers, you would like to spend too much time, and also you have to spend so much money building your data centers. But with the AWS, you are only paying for the services which actually you consume throughout the month, and there is no upfront expenses are required. You need not to pay in advance any amount. You just use the services, and then you are paying at the month end. And you are able to lower the variable cost. You are no longer to need to dedicate valuable resources to building costly infrastructures, and you are not bothering to purchase your servers, softwares. You don't need to care about the licensing issues. You don't need to consider about the compliance issues. Everything will be taken care by the clouds. It will also allow you to quickly adapt to the changing business needs, if it is growing, if it is decreasing. So kind of scalability will also be provided to you. And all the services are basically available to the customer on demand, and there is no long-term contracts are required. So this is the benefit, and we call it as a pay as you go. Then pay less when you reserve. What does that mean? It means um, it actually motivates you to if you are showing the commitment that you will be going to use for this much duration about services, then you get more kind of discounts. So many services like EC2, RDS can be provided in this mode, that if you are reserving this for a longer duration, you will get more benefit. But it is not compulsory. If you don't want to go for the reserving model, you can go for on-demand model. That means whenever you need it, you can pay it. So when you go for the reserve model, so we have to reserve the instances of the services that you are using. So with reserved instances, you can save up to 75% of the cost and that you are paying with the on-demand capacity. This is a huge amount that can be saved. So most of the time, business will actually, they will kind of do analysis, and they will determine that up to how much long time they are going to use these services for the customer, and they prefer to go for this reserve model, because a huge benefit is given to the customer. It is basically, again, it is just a kind of commitment with the services, and you get a benefit in return. So these reservations are available either in 1 year or 3 years. So if you are committed for 1 year, you are getting some benefits. If you committed for 3 years, you are getting more benefits. And then we have different models are there. If that is called ORI, that is all upfront reserved instance. That means you reserved it for some duration, and you pay all the advance payment. You get a tremendous kind of discount. You will get the greatest discount you get. Or depending on your budget, you may reserve any instances, and you can pay partially, or you can pay nothing. So it all depends on your budget, about your strategy of the company, but all things are available there. So that's why it is suitable for all kind of businesses, and it will also help you to manage your budget. So your organization can minimize risk, and it can manage budgets and comply with the policies that require long-term commitments. So this is all possible with this kind of structure. Next is pay less by using more. Now that means moving to clouds it will offer you to get volume based discounts and realize the important savings as your usage increase. So again, it's a other type of motivation to the customer, that you keep on using services not only for a longer duration, but with a kind of huge volume. So if your business is large, if you are claiming for a huge volume of the resources provided by the clouds, then definitely you are getting more discounts. Services like a storage services like S3. So here the entire pricing is actually tiered, means in the layers form. That means you have different options and which model you want to store, which model you want to go for, and then you have to pay accordingly as per this. Then pay even less as AWS grows. Again, uh, this is a kind of bonus to the customer, you can say. So AWS is constantly focusing on reducing the data centers hardware cost. It is improving the operational efficiencies, lowering the power consumptions, and it will generally lowering the cost of doing business. So as the AWS grows, the customer base is growing, so definitely the entire pricing is actually distributed among all the customers, so it will be reflected in the customer budget. Customers are providing services at a lesser rate, so at keep on expanding, the services are getting cheaper for the customers. So since from the 2006, AW has lowered pricing more than 60 times. And another benefit with the AWS is that in the future, higher performing resources will be there, with no extra charges. That means whatever the resources is given to you at whatever price, as the time is actually moving, the technology is advancing, you are going to replace with the with the updated resources to get a better performance on your application, and this will be not charge extra from your side. This is all done by the AWS or at their end. So this is definitely a absolute benefit, you can say, as you always use the updated resources with the improved performance. This is again one very good advantage with the AWS. Then custom pricing, you can see that AWS actually realized that every customer has different kind of needs. So you are allowed to customize your requirement, and you can pay whatever is your need. And if none of the pricing model work for a project, so they have proposed some kind of sample models they have proposed. You just go through the samples, you can just look to the configuration, and you can just use any of them for your business. If nothing is suitable to you, you just configure as per your requirement. You just plan what is your need, and then you can set up your own kind of network, sub network, and how you want to configure, how you want to frame it. Everything is possible with the AWS. So AWS free tier is something which is to it's a kind of a strategy from the AWS to motivate the new business persons or users to have an experience of the cloud computing. They allow you to become a customer and get started with the cloud. It actually allows a free usage tier for the new customers for 1 year. And if you are a new AWS customer, you can run this EC2 instances. You can set up a server on the cloud, and you can use this just to have experience of the services and explore your knowledge. Then no charge. This is again very fundamental thing. uh, it offers a variety of services with no additional charges. So when you explore the AWS, you will find that you are paying for the services, but there are many other services which are actually implicit, and you are paying nothing for that. That means you may be, for example, you are doing a lot of data transfers within the region. There is no charge. You may be moving from one type of database to other type of database. You may be yeah, transferring from S3 to any other kind of storage medium. Then the charge are very minimal, or maybe sometimes there is no charge. Now, for example, uh, you are allowed to manage entirely about your authorization, access control. We have one service called AWS Identity and Access Management Control, and you will be fully allowed to configure your business structure, and this is all free. Mm, you may be getting consolidated billing, so you can create multiple accounts with the AWS, and if you want to get one bill, that is also possible. You can just configure using one feature called consolidated billing, and you will get one bill. And also you can shift whatever the volume is provided in one account. If you are not using it in full, if you have reserved that particular volume to get the benefit, but if you are not using it, it will be shared among the different account as well. This is again a very good advantage of kind of consolidating billing. Then we have something called cloud formation is there, elastic beanstalk are there. They are very interesting and important services with free of cost. So with the Beanstalk, it's an easier way to quickly deploy, and you can manage your applications uh, on the cloud. Cloud formation, it will give the developers to create the collection of AWS resources and also provision them into an orderly and predictable fashion. There are lot things are available, like auto scaling. Auto scaling is like as per the demand releases. It depends on the traffic. If the traffic is high, it will scale your kind of resources, so that all the customers will be getting their services satisfied all the time. There will be no kind of short of resources at any point of time. So scaling is again very useful and is also of no charge. So in review, you can, in summarize, we can say the best way to estimate cost is to examine the fundamental characteristics of each AWS services, and then you can estimate the usage of each characteristics, and then you can map these usages to the prices that is actually applicable to your application. So this strategy gives you the tremendous flexibility to choose what services actually you need and is good for your project, and accordingly you are paying for this. So there are a number of free services are there that includes VPC is there, that is the virtual private cloud is there, Elastic Beanstalk is there, Cloud Formation is there, IAM is there, automatic scaling is there. You can go for consolidated billing is there. So there are a lot of things are available in the AWS that is provided to the customer purely on the free basis. Okay, so this is all we have understood that what is the pricing model of the AWS and the different features and services available in the AWS. This is just a basic information to those who are planning to move to the AWS. So they have now get an idea that how the AWS is actually charging to the customers and what are the different options available to explore. So I suggest if you are new to the cloud, just make an account on the AWS, start using the services, but always keep in mind that when before you use any of the services, you just check that the services is free or not, because when you are using the services, you are getting a range of services which are available to you, but some are free and some are actually paid. So if you are just exploring this entire environment, so you need to just take care that you are only using the AWS free services. Otherwise you are charged for that, and you will get a bill at the end of the month. So you have to be very careful. And the other suggestion I would like to give you is, even if you are using free services, you always whatever the services you are using for your practice, you just use it, and then when you are going to log out, or when you have finished your work, it's always recommendable to just delete the services from your account, just to avoid any kind of charge that can incur to you by mistake. You have used any services you have used which are paid, So it's always good to always, just clean up the services, just delete all the services which you have used from your account, so that in that way you are will be avoiding yourself to getting charged at the end of the month, and also you will be fully utilizing this free tier for your own knowledge. Apart from this, there are on the AWS website you may find a lot of training materials are there which help you to train yourself to learn different services. There are training is available there in the form of videos, it's available in the form of kind of notes are there. You can also go for kind of short training programs are there which are free also, paid also. So initially, if you are preparing for the cloud practitioner exam, so I suggest you to go for some white papers which are available there. You just search for the fundamental or initial documents. You will get a lot of materials are there, and I believe if you sincerely work or study for 1 month, you can easily able to qualify this exam. So that's all for this lecture, and we'll see more in AWS in the later classes. Bye for now.